Well, the markets successfully rage baited me again today. Um, just an awful day. Honestly, setups were good, but there's a lot of bullshit that went on, man. I had two break evens, one that got stopped in profit, and three losses. After trading pretty good today, I thought, took six trades and ended up down pretty bad. I mean, it's a 150K account, so that's not that big of a deal. Um, but still, not great, not ideal. But my bias played out exactly how I wanted it to. And there was just stop hunts and wick outs due to news. And it's just classic 2026 price action. So, not too upset, but did take a loss on this account. Ended up passing half a combine as well. Did have to take 11 trades, which is fucking crazy because I got hit break even so many goddamn times that I had to keep re-entering because I was risking very heavy, so I was going break even very early and stressful, but did get half of it passed, which is nice. So yeah, today we just had news 5:15 that really didn't do shit. But I want to show you guys because I didn't have this account yesterday. I still had half of it to pass. I want to show you guys how I passed it. Effectively, it was this. I was trading Asia, and Trump said something about pausing shipping movement, and you can see the reaction here. But on the NASDAQ, you can see that wasn't it. It's right here. So that came out at 5:52. And this was insane, man. I was in a long position right about here after we got this 1 minute inversion right here. I knew we were going to go higher. It was just, there's so much good news going on. And we had this huge breakaway gap that we created between Asia session and the end of New York, which was pretty significant. I thought about targeting it to be honest. It was like 30 points, so I mean it should get filled at some point, but I thought about targeting it, but I didn't. I took a long because I knew we were pushing very hard. So I was pretty good in profit here, and then out of the fucking blue, Trump says that shit, and we get 123 point candle, and I'm telling you, it spawned like instantly. My shit like lagged. It said I was up $15,000 when I was in this position, and almost 0.5% in like literally like 2 seconds. And this is keep in mind, this is at 3:52 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 6:52 Eastern Standard Time. Like that is like pre Asia market. Like usually we're not even moving at that time. And yeah, so crazy. I got taken out there, and that was the win. So that leaves us with today. We had a few lows and whatnot. Believe that was it, unless I missed something. No, that was it for today. And obviously we had this breakaway gap here. So, I mean, the sell side was there, but there's no way I was taking a short today. I took all longs. And coming into market open, we had this 15-minute gap, and then we had this hourly gap, a bearish hourly gap here, which hadn't fully formed yet till 6 o'clock is when it got created. But we also had this hourly bullish gap here. So we tapped into both of those. And this first trade, I really liked it. This was the trade of the day. There was just a lot of bullshit with it, but like mechanically wise, it was A+. We tap in this gap, we wick it out fully. We obviously take out all this trendline liquidity here, and we want all-time highs, all right? Like, we're super bullish. So we get a 3-minute inversion, and that was the highest time frame, as you can see. The only other thing we had up here was this 5-minute gap and then this hourly gap. And on the 15-minute, we had this pretty big gap up here, and then above that we had all-time highs. So my target originally was this 15-minute gap, right? We get this 3-minute inversion, and we get a pullback. I'm just going to get rid of this 15-minute gap so you guys can see better. We get a pullback into this newly created 1-minute gap, and that is where I entered. Like, it couldn't have been any better of a trade for me. Absolutely nailed the entry on this, and I ended up going break even right there, which kind of blows because obviously this ran to full TP right after, because that's just how it goes. But I was targeting the midpoint of this 15-minute gap, and my stops were below this 1-minute gap. So I was set to make about roughly $5,000 or something on this trade. And I was risking about, I don't know, 800, something like that. I'm not going to do the math in my head, but ended up going break even because my break even point was this 5-minute gap, and we did get the inversion on it, like, which is crazy to me. Like, this entry was perfect, guys. This is like my exact strategy. The only thing it was missing was like a session liquidity sweep, but when we're trading at all-time highs, we're not going to get that realistically. We haven't swept a session low in like 3 or 4 days, so that wasn't going to happen. Wasn't too worried. Beautiful V-shape inversion every single time frame, and we had a clear break-even point at this 5-minute gap here. That was super easy. So inversion, tap back into it, enter, money. Perfect, amazing. Break even there, almost get taken out right here. I actually took a screenshot of it. It missed my break even by like literally a ball hair. And then we go back up, and what do? We go back up and we get the inversion on this 5-minute. We don't even tap into the hourly yet. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm thinking I'm good, right? And we just fucking reverse off of thin air. I don't know, like, I wasn't really checking my financial juice, but I'm like, we didn't get any major news, like, other than the Fed saying some stuff that really was not that important. And we just dump, like, out of thin air right to my break even, and then we trade back into this 1-minute gap here, and then we pump back up, and then we dump again. Like, this shit just didn't make sense. Obviously, if I didn't go break even here, I would have got taken out right there by like 1 point, which would have drove me fucking insane. So I'm glad I did go break even, but it still sucks because that was the trade of the day in my opinion. All you had to do was just not go break even or have your stops lower, and you would have banged that shit out within about like an hour and a half, which is a long time, but still. So yeah, at this point, I'm up like $30, and like I said, it was a reversal off thin air. We came down and we still respected this gap, so I was still confident in longs, which was not great because I ended up taking like a top tick trade, like right there, because we get, again, every single time frame gets an inversion, 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute. You can see here, I figure we just reswapped this low here and we retapped that gap, took a bunch of people out, including me. We should continue higher now. There's no reason why we don't. And we dump again. My stops were below this gap, and we dump right into that, right? And I lost $1,250 on this trade, so I'm down about $1,215 at this point. And like I said, this was just good trade. If you missed the first one, if I missed that first one, I would have taken this one all day as well. Like, I don't think this was a bad trade. If you didn't get an entry here and you got an entry there, that was a good trade. Again, we reverse off of thin air. I guess you can justify this little tiny 1 minute gap, but we had already inversed the 5. We'd already inversed this 1 minute. There's no reason we should have dumped down here. Like, again, I don't know if there's any news, which as far as I can see, there wasn't. So yeah, the market was just not it today, man. Like I said, there was some really good setups. There's just no delivery. So I'm down a good amount at this point, and I end up getting in another long because I get another opportunity right here, and this one actually gave me a 5 minute inversion, which is a lot stronger than a 1, 2, 3 minute inversion. So I liked it. And I actually waited. I was very patient. I didn't just hop back in another trade. And I got in right here when we tap back into this gap right there. And at this point, I'm targeting all-time highs because I'm already down a good amount. And this trade kind of fucked me, to be honest. I added one position, so I got moved up a little bit. And basically, again, another great trade. We get the manipulation, accumulation, and then this was going to be the distribution leg. Distributes real nice, but then as soon as we get up into this 15-minute gap, we came very, very close to inversing it. You can see the 15-minute closed right here, and this wick was literally like half a point away from inversing it. And we don't, and then we just dump, and I got taken out in profit right there for 480 bucks. So again, good trade. It's kind of annoying because I literally barely got stopped out, and then it ran all the way up here, which I would have taken because I would have been up about 800 bucks from this point here, which would have been more than fine with me after how today was going. And even if it came down here, if I didn't go into profit, even if I left it break even, you can clearly see it hit by a long shot, right? So I don't want to say poor management because it's never a bad idea to have your stops in profit, but I don't know. I should have just risked it all. I ended up down more than I would have been if I got a break even on this one. So realistically, unfortunate. And I had a feeling we'd reverse off of this, but I didn't think we'd reverse this hard because at this point we had already inversed the hourly gap, and we were looking very, very bullish with all-time highs right there. So yeah, unfortunate one there. I ended up taking a few more trades because I'm only down about 800 at this point. I got in another long right here. I can't really show you guys, but we got a 30-second inversion right here after we tap back into a 5-minute gap. You can see right here. Tap back into this 5-minute gap, respect it pretty hard. We get a 30-second inversion. I believe it was off news at 8:44. Maybe not, but it definitely seemed like a news candle in the minute. Like you can see, this is a huge fucking candle. Like 44.1 minute candle. So we did get a 30-second inversion out of that. We had nothing else to inverse. Entered there, went into a good amount of drawdown. And this one also ended break even at 920 right there. Which, again, like, completely reversed off of thin air. Just delete these so you guys can see. But at this point, you can see at 9:15, which is up here, we inverse this 15-minute gap, and we have nothing. There's nothing stopping us other than a measly like 1 minute gap there. But there was no higher time frame gaps, no other highs, nothing. All-time highs were right there. We were only 33 points from all-time highs, and then we just again, we dump out of thin air. And like, you check the news, and again, nothing. Like, just some space AI crap that should have nothing to do with this big of a dump, and stops me out break even there. Again, a good break even, because we did dump pretty hard after that. And yeah, that was that. So again, good trade, good continuation trade. If you missed the first few, that was a good one to get in, but ends up break even, unfortunately, and that was that. So at this point, we had made our way close to below that 5-minute gap. I shouldn't even be trading at this point, but we did have a pretty large 15 created right here that we do tap into, and I actually ended up entering a bit earlier than that. I got in a trade after we came back down here into this gap. I got into another long right here, this was pretty bad trade, to be honest with you. Kind of rushed this one. Very small stop, but still, I got fried pretty quick. Got taken out right there on that wick. Right at the bottom of this 5-minute gap, unfortunately. And then it went back up to my break even, but I was going to take a loss on that one either way. That was a pattern trade. That was garbage. I believe there was a 30-second inversion there. And like I said, we had inverse of 15. All-time highs are right there. No reason why we shouldn't have gone up, but that was a FOMO garbage trade. $400 loss on that one. So I'm down $1,200 again at this point. Pretty much right back where I started before the win. And I ended up taking one more trade because you know me, I don't know when to stop. And I ended up taking a trade right here on this candle. We again respect this 5-minute. We get a 1-minute inversion. And again, all-time highs right in sight. It was clear we are going to hit them, but unfortunately, we decided to dump back down before we did that. So got smoked right there again, and then we did end up breaking that 5-minute, tapping into this 15-minute, which if you were still trading at this point, of course, I locked myself out right when the actual move happens. After that 15-minute gap, we do get this nice 5-minute inversion here. Could have hit a beautiful, easy one-to-one, or maybe even more off of this in your stops here. 1 to 3, you could hit a really nice trade there. No drawdown. Of course, there's no drawdown on the one I don't enter. And you could have even gotten in like right off this inversion down here, squeezed a little bit more RR out of it. But yeah, that was a really good trade if you're still trading at that point. Of course, I locked myself out, you know. I was down 1,700, so realistically I could not afford to take another loss. But that's just how it goes sometimes, you know. Can't win them all, but today was just aggravating, man. Lots and lots and lots of bullshit stop hunts that shouldn't have happened, that were reversing off of thin air. Like, I wasn't asking for a lot here. Like when I got in my first trade right here to all-time highs was only 250 points. I mean, that's a decent amount, but that's completely reasonable to say we should deliver right up to that in a day's session, whether that took 2-3 hours. We should have maintained bullish structure pretty much all the way up. And we got all this bullshit, which really killed me. And then we got this bullshit that also killed me. Like, I got no problem with pullbacks like this here. It's stuff like this giant wick, or this pullback with the inversion that's a complete fake out. And it's just stuff like that that's going to eat you alive. And it did eat me alive today. So, yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Tomorrow we got just unemployment claims, but it's going to be choppy because of NFP on Friday. So be careful if you're trading tomorrow. I'm going to try to pass this eval in Asia and then get back rolling tomorrow. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, as usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.